the Gun Devil is still out in the series where, there's the date that they have all set up to when they're going to go raid this location, and we'll get that whole like part of the story all developed. But as of right now, it looks like we're getting some way more spooky stuff set up and things beyond the Gun Devil for later. And the thing about the devils in Chainsaw Man that we know about, we know how they work essentially. We know they're all kind of like stemmed out of something that is fear, and their power is based on how much someone fears that. Now, with the Gun Devil being as powerful as he is would make a lot of sense. Obviously, people are going to be afraid of guns. It's got a lot of people all over the world, obviously, are going to be. But the Gun Devil, it was weird to think if the Gun Devil was the end. If we already got, like, the end devil already within the series, like, so early. Like, we got the Gun Devil, oh, my God, I don't remember what chapter. I think it was at 13, 14, something around that time that we got the Gun Devil first mentioned. And we got that whole hype for him. And one thing Fujimoto does excellently is he's really good at having, like, the opposing, like, the antagonist flex. Like, obviously the first time we've got about the Gun Devil, we got the flashback of him. When we got the katana kind of, like, laying into things. Him and, like, Reze's was more of, like, a display of just, like, oh, look, we're powerful. Look, we can do this stuff. We're really strong, really fierce. Whereas with, the Gun Devil and the Darkness Devil that we get in this chapter, it's more of a presence thing. It's more of just them existing seems to really, really lay down some horror. But as the chapter kind of like began, we know that they got transported to hell at the end of the previous chapter, and Chainsaw Man's hell is very unique from what I'm seeing. Like it's like the ground is like this big, like, dying yard. It's just like weeds and trash, and there's nothing really kind of like anything that would make you think of hell. And there's like fingers, like large fingers, just kind of like laying around, and the ceiling is all doors. It's very, very strange. The design, like I said, it's very unique. I like it a lot. I'm very intrigued with this. But after that point, Aki goes to pull the cord on Denji's chest. He doesn't have enough blood, so he only gets that, like, barely anything form where he just has part of the chainsaw coming out of his forehead. Denji's not doing so well. Someone needs to give him blood. Do they have Beam with them? I'm just, like, looking at the group right now. I mean, they have the violence. They could just give him blood, take blood from him, or really anybody in that group give blood to Denji. But from that, like I talked about, it was one of those things like, oh, there could easily be devils above the Gun Devil. We just didn't really know anything, but now we're getting some hype for him. And one of Qianshi's harem is like really uneased by this. All of the fiends and the devils are like, well, we have fiends. I don't think we have any straight devils. I don't see Prince or anyone. Well, no, Prince was straight to be just a straight devil. No, they have the Angel Devil. He's a straight devil. He seems to be way more. He seems way more like collected about this, whereas like the fiends are all very worried. I'm guessing because the Angel Devil seems to be way smarter, like he's able to handle this a lot better. Like he seems way more intelligent than any of the other fiends, especially there. But while they're talking about it, and they're like, oh, we're finished. This is hell. Like the Angel Devil's just like, this is bad. We're in some bad stuff. We're not doing too well. And one of Qianshi's like harem girls is like, this is bad. Like we're being watched by a dangerous devil. Like there's like beyond them, like devils way more dangerous than the Gun Devil. Devils that get their names from primal fears are watching, and they're transcendent. They're devils who have never experienced death, so they've never left hell. They've never stepped foot on the earthly like realm. And they're like, the second one of them decides to put hostility towards them, they're dead, and that's just gonna be it. And then the one girl's just like, oh yeah, permission to kill myself. And then they're like, yeah, no, it's over, it's doomed, one of them is coming. And then the door opens up, one of the doors in the ceiling, and I really liked that idea that all of these doors lead into like different realms. Like each one is probably like a dimension that the devils control. And it's really spooky just to think that behind every single one of these doors is connected to this realm of hell, and each of them is going to be some terrifying devil, which makes sense of why when we see Pochita and not the Gun Devil, I remember him as the Chainsaw Devil, like the original one before Denji took him. He has that door, and it's very weird looking. It's like down a hallway. So maybe he is different than the other devils, and we already know that the other devils wanted him for some reason. There's something about the Chainsaw Devil that gives it its own weird kind of presence, and I can understand that. Obviously, it has ties to the main character, but I'm wondering if it has ties to the Gun Devil, because we know the Gun Devil wanted to have the chainsaw, and we don't know what exactly the reason is. Now, what if the reason is, and this is just a theory that I have, this off the top of my, well, not top of my head, I thought of this the other day, but in regard to this chapter, it's what if the Chainsaw Devil and the Gun Devil were friends, like back in hell. Somehow the Gun Devil died, or the Chainsaw Devil died, and the Gun Devil decided to go to, go to Earth to pull him back. And he doesn't have all of his memories, so it's not as easy for him just to, go and locate him. Maybe it's kind of like the Angel Devil, where he's just got kind of like hints, like pieces, and just had that base root of get the Gun Devil back in order to do it. And he's like wants to kill Denji, send him back to hell, and then go back with him to continue their journey. Like maybe they wanted to overcome or overthrow these primal devils in order to kind of like get to the top. Kind of like a shonen story where it's like, yeah, we want to be number one, but then one of them dies, and it's like, I have to go after him. We can't let this dream die. That'd be really cool, and I think it'd be badass to have the Gun Devil then become an ally, and it'd be really weird to work into the story. But I don't put it past Chainsaw Man. Everything about this series is very strange. But then when the Darkness Devil shows up, his door opens, there's just like this black splatter on the ground, and then it just gets darker out. And there's this walkway of killed astronauts with like the cut in half at the waist, and some of them praying while the other half, their legs are just sticking out of the ground. And while everybody's just kind of like posed up ready, the Darkness Devil just moves past them and removes all of their arms. And one thing that's really interesting to note, if you look at the panel where all of their arms are missing, and you draw the arms like letters, it actually spells out Makima, which I'm so curious to what makes Makima so special. Like maybe she's a primal devil, or maybe she's linked with a primal devil, or is one, and maybe like a primal fiend that is over inside of that the world of living. Like maybe her thing is like famine. Maybe her thing is like famine, or has something to do with I don't really know. It's kind of weird because I can kind of put the rats and the internal bleeding together. It's that weird crushing power that I'm very curious of. I'm kind of thinking that she's contracted with a lot of different devils, but at the top, like she has one of the primal devils, and so you need a primal devil in order to defeat them. But now you have the Tolka's master, who's just like, I am the doll devil, so the doll devil has been controlling him. It's actually who's been in charge here, and wants to have the power to kill Makima, and maybe communicating through them. And Tolka's master is the one really like brought into all this. She's using the puppet devil and all these other devils in her strategy and her plan in order to get a power to kill Makima. And the Gun Devil, or not the Gun Devil, the Darkness Devil ends up giving her some of his own flesh in exchange for bringing him the chainsaw, because he's like, hey, look, I brought you what you wanted. I brought the chainsaw, so give me the power to kill Makima. And I love the way that Fujimoto draws the panels too, because when the Darkness Devil's hand just kind of comes out, it like spreads out of the panel, and then it's super spooky. I love the way that the author like is doing this, and especially the way that when all the characters had their arms taken, that their arms formed the lines between the panels. That was super badass and really creative. I like when authors do that, whenever they kind of incorporate one of their themes into something like that, like the layout. It's just really intriguing to me, and it gives it a little extra flavor. But other than that, comment below. There's a lot really going on with this, and I don't know how they're going to escape. I don't know how they're going to escape. The only thing I can really see of them not getting just trounced by the Darkness Devil is if he doesn't really have any malice, and it's just more of like a I don't really care kind of super, like I'm so beyond this, like this doesn't really bother me kind of thing. I don't know. It can go anywhere. Chainsaw Man is super strange. So maybe Denji will get more powerful while he's in hell and get some form of boost, and we'll get hints as to what makes the chainsaw so special. But other than that, comment below. Tell me your thoughts are about this, and tell me your thoughts are about everything going on right now in the Chainsaw Man series. I'm wondering if maybe like the chainsaw is special because he's like a devil that had suddenly a huge fluctuation of, is that a word? I don't know, a huge flux of fear, like, from people. Maybe it had to do with, like, oh yeah, because so many movies kept using chainsaws, and so many people then became afraid of them. He was like transcending, and the other devils, like maybe the other primal devils, want him for some reason. I don't know. Well, we know they want him. We don't know why. And other than that, comment below. Tell me your thoughts about this chapter. Tell me your thoughts about everything in this series and what's going to come next. Other than that, I really appreciate thumbs up the video, from the like button, subscribe button, and check out my other videos. But other than that, I appreciate everyone who's already subscribed, and thank you all for listening. Bye.